times.
Boom. Go.
Okay,
right.
people, we're live. Sorry about that.
There.
So the second episode or the second one should be up live. I'm going to check, make sure it's actually going live.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes YouTube a minute to show up, so
Figure things
we
out.
might have to give it a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you end up replacing the stream key?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So we should be live on the second stream.
I'm not seeing anything yet.
It takes like 30 seconds to load.
Hold on. Let me go to my YouTube app and see.
There we go. I see Jonathan.
You see it
on
now?
the screen.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, it says it's live now. Oh, it doesn't show the thing. Okay, cool.
Right.
We're live.
That was annoying. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so
I'll put you
welcome.
on the main frame. So
we're back for take two. You guys know how this is. It's not a Linux podcast without something going wrong.
Without a technical difficulty.
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Because of us running behind, do we want to get straight into articles, or what do we want to do?
Let's let Ricky give his plug for a few minutes.
Cool.
Basically, before we get started, folks, to the people who watch my channel specifically, I know the first thing that's pretty much on your mind is, where the hell have I been over the last few months? And people, I'm going to be giving a channel update on Tuesday, but to make a brief summarization, I've been recovering from a sprained knee. And plus, a hurricane basically hit my state a few days ago. So that's pretty much a brief synopsis as to why I have not been active on my channel. Plus, other little things I won't go into detail about. Yeah. But other than that, I'm going to have a channel update Tuesday that'll go into more in-depth detail as to what the current status of my channel is going to be for the foreseeable future and what's going to be happening. So that's my little plug there.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and go into articles, and then we can sort of wing it from there.
Okay. So do we want to take over on our own articles, or what do we want to do?
Yeah.
Much anything.
Let's let our little co-host Ricky decide.
Cool.
I think for our first article that we should cover, and this is pretty much something that I don't really see anybody talking about much, if not at all. And that is the GNU Linux Libre 6.11 kernel released for software freedom lovers.
Yes.
So let me just bring it up here. There we go. So basically, folks, in a nutshell, it's a Linux kernel, yes, but the whole gist of this is it's a kernel designed for, people that are involved in the Free Software Foundation, or, that are involved in the free software movement in general, that are pretty much completely against proprietary drivers. This thing is pretty much, it's based on the just released Linux kernel 6.11. And it's basically here to clean up the AMD GPU list, Tri-40, all these other ones that I'm seeing as well as a new ARM64 device files. It also updates the cleaning up of the AMD GPU, Andrio VGX. Some of these I can't really pronounce. Basically, in a nutshell, folks, it cleans up a lot of drivers and various versions of firmware rejecting primaries, and introduces detection of firmware loading primitives and Rust. On top of that, this release includes all the features and improvements, as well as the updated and new drivers introduced upstream with Linux 6.11. Of course, as such, the GNU Linux Libre kernel doesn't ship with non-free components such as but as pretty much the upstream kernel does. It also says here that the GNU Linux Libre kernel is targeted for those who want to build a 100% free computer that doesn't include any proprietary code, and for software freedom lovers. If you're one of those users, you can download the Linux Libre 6.11 kernel right now as compressed tarballs from the official site. And also, there are packages for Debian and Red Hat as well. And there's most likely one for Arch users too. Most likely, yes. And also they're also available and can be found on the free SH project, Deb, and RPM Freedom websites. The GNU Linux Libre kernel can be installed on virtually any GNU/Linux distribution alongside or as a replacement for your distro standard kernel. So this is the way I see it here. This is just my personal opinion. I mean, for the people out there that use this kernel, have used this kernel for years, good on you. I'm pretty sure it works pretty well. For us specifically, the hardware that me, Jonathan, and Ben here, we can't support this type of kernel on our hardware, unfortunately. Even though we would love to, we just can't, because the hardware we have, unfortunately, requires per driver here or there.
Yeah.
May I interject?
Hardware sorry, go ahead, Jonathan.
Oh, cool.
Sure, go ahead.
Oh, wow, we can't support it. I know from my own project, because it's very community-based, I'm not against somebody else having a fork that's theirs. I mean, it's 100% within their right and open source. That would be kind of cool for those who care about that stuff.
Exactly.
We're not opposed to people taking our projects and, forking it how they see fit. But again, we can't directly support that kind of thing,
I mean, exactly. I mean, it's all within the 4 essential freedoms of Linux that Richard Stallman built many years ago. Yes. And one of those said freedoms is to fork a current project and make it your own according to your wish.
And there's nothing wrong with this.
No, no, exactly. I completely agree with that.
I mean, the only thing that I've ever had a problem with 100% free software is sometimes they meaning specific people. I'm not going to put names.
We're not going to put names out there, no.
Yeah. They go a little too far on your processor shouldn't have, proprietary code to it. So there's no point in the company investing money into a processor if they don't have it.
Right. I mean, I understand where, certain folks that will not remain named and in the what the heck is it? The Software Freedom Foundation or the FOSS Foundation, whatever you call it.
The Free Software Foundation.
The Free Software Foundations, they have a certain set of morals, and I respect that, but again, we personally choose not to go down that way. So,
exactly. Yes.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where we respect their choices and things like that, but we just have hardware that sadly cannot respect those freedoms fully. So,
exactly.
And another thing, our buddy Seeker has just informed me that to check and see if Linus Torvalds, our beloved main kernel guy, might be retiring. So later in the show, we might circle around to that. It all depends on how the time we have and that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean,
exactly.
That is a very important matter that we will aim to touch on. So, yeah.
Though, speaking of kernels, you cool if I go ahead and cover one of my topics for this week?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead and bring that up, Jonathan.
It might get Ben here a little excited. I don't know if Ricky gets excited about Apple product. But
oh gosh, what are you getting at, Jonathan?
here we go. So there have been device tree patches found to make it where Linux will run on the A7 to the A11 processors from Apple.
That's their
So guess
mobile
what, guys?
processors, mind you.
Yeah. That's their mobile line. But what gets me excited about this is what that may lead to, because I've talked about in the past, if I would 100% have an iPhone, if I could run Linux or Android on it, and since the Android kernel
I
is
know
based
where
on
you're
the
going
Linux
with this.
kernel, yeah, since it's based on that, maybe one day, maybe just a little bit closer to that.
Point. Yeah. So what we're trying to say, folks, is this could mean, we're not giving any definitive answers here, but this could mean that Linux and hopefully the Android kernel and operating system may be ported to iOS. Not through Apple, not at all, but maybe through a third-party developer. You know?
Exactly.
Because I mean, you guys know Apple like we do. They're never going to endorse iOS being replaced with Android. They're not.
No.
Never.
No. But this might lead to being able to run it without a jailbreak kind of thing. Because we all know for a fact that as much as we love to tinker around and screw around with stuff, you know, iOS is sadly becoming more and more locked down through the years as it gets older. And, you know, as much as we love to circumvent and make stuff work, you know, it's unfortunately just becoming a heck of a lot harder to do that, isn't it, Jonathan?
It is. And my big thing that I've noticed, and that's so frustrating for me, is they actually have very good hardware. It's just they've locked down their ecosystem so much where you can't put other software on it normally.
No, you can't normally put it in a place where it's not supposed to be.
Right. Like I'm just saying, I've had a dream like for almost 10 years now where I could run Android on an iPhone, and I'd freaking use it. I'd love that. It sounds like
I would use it too, because I mean, you know, I'm in a financial position where I can't afford to, not as much as I would want to. You know, it's just not. I mean, even if I was to get like a Pixel 4a, you know, I would have to almost, I would have to save up an F ton of money just to be able to do that. You know, so
yeah, but
it's not. Go ahead, Ricky.
But as I was going to say, the thought of putting a different OS on an iPhone is just unbelievable. In my honest opinion, I think the One OS, if it got the chance to shine on an iPhone, I would like to see Ubuntu Touch on an iPhone.
Now that would be kind of cool. Because I mean, honestly, if we honestly think about it, it would make sense, and I think the most sense, because Ubuntu Touch has been dying to get off the ground for I don't know how daggone long.
Right.
And you know, as much as we all love our Storm OSs, our Arches, our Gen 2s, our LFSs, the whole shebang, none of those would make sense in a mobile device sense that has, you know, been around since 2007. It just wouldn't, you know.
Exactly, and I'll say also this. I mean, with basically Ubuntu Touch's direction, where they're taking basically the mobile version of GNOME called Posh, basically, if you look at how Ubuntu Touch is all laid out and situated, you put Ubuntu Touch on an iPhone and just hand it to an Apple person, they're most likely not going to know really that much of a difference.
No, they're not. And I think, you know, if you give, like you said, an Apple user who's only known Mac OS, who's only known iOS, that kind of thing for years, when it was first introduced, and you put in its place somehow, how I don't know, you put Ubuntu Touch on there, whether it's in a dual boot or not, they wouldn't know the difference. They would be like, "Oh, I can use this," and
Exactly.
it wouldn't be that hard for them to learn it. Not at
So
all.
I don't know if it'd be so much that they wouldn't know the difference, but it'd probably be more they don't care as long as it works.
No, as long as the sucker works and they can, they can do their email, do their apps, etc. They're not gonna care.
And also think about it this way. Where does Ubuntu Touch shine the most? Tablets and smartphones.
Right. And iOS iPhones and iPads and things, if you put it on that kind of a device with Ubuntu, you get the best of both worlds. You get a killer hardware with a killer operating system at the end of the day. Because,
it's like a marriage made in heaven, essentially. You're getting one of the best free and open source operating systems of all time with Ubuntu Touch, and you're marrying it with, in my opinion, some of the best proprietary hardware that anybody has ever seen. The iPad.
Yes.
Or the iPhone.
Yep.
Right. The iPad and the iPhone.
And
Did Ben just...
I think we just lost him.
I think we lost Ben. Oh, no.
Oh,
in the meantime, until Ben comes back, you and I can talk about it, I guess. It happens, no worries. So you were mentioning, though, that the Ubuntu Touch being on the iPhone and iPad. If anything, I'd be really excited about it being on an iPad. Because, right, Ubuntu Touch has support for touch and what, obviously, by the name. And imagine using like Krita or something like that on your tablet with crazy powerful hardware. I mean, it's perfect.
And also, not only that, I mean, if an iPad had access to Ubuntu Touch, you would have access to so much free and open source software. You would have more web browser options, more Alpha Suite options, more music player options. You would have so many more
I'm back, guys. My darn.
terms of software compared to what you have with Apple's App Store. Because let's face it, with Apple's App Store, you don't have much options.
No, you really don't. Sorry, guys. My laptop.
I see two Bens now. Cool.
That was kind of weird. But anyway, my darn my laptop froze up for a second. I'm back.
Yeah. By the way, Ben, here's a bit of advice. Go into the performance settings in Jitsi and turn down your performance a little bit.
Let me do that. But I think this is some hardware flaw that I have with this SSD. But anyway, settings. Where is it?
You're back, so that's what matters. That's what matters.
Yeah, let me take a look. I'm under the settings. I'm looking for performance.
Yeah, just go. It's the top setting. Go to performance.
Oh,
and then
performance. Okay.
Adjust the slider to the third one on the left.
Best performance. Okay, thank you.
Best performance. It's the third one.
Okay. Well, anyway, so yeah, to put a pin in the needle on this this Android on iOS thing. I think it's a good plan, and hopefully it does see the light of day, and we'll hope for the best for that. So
exactly, and also think about it also this way. What if there was, an Ubuntu or Linux-like system, not just for the iPad, not just for the iPhone, but what if there was one dedicated to the iWatch?
You mean the Apple Watch? Yeah.
Yeah, the Apple Watch. That'd be pretty cool. That would be pretty
cool.
Because
then we could finally have a somewhat Linux watch out there.
There is a Linux watch. I've heard of one before, but they're not very good. To be honest,
the one that I know of is the one that Eric from on the Linux Loon talked about. It's called the Pine Time, I think.
The Pine Time. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, the Pine Watch. Yeah, because I mean, but I will say, Canonical has done a lot of great stuff for the Linux community. I mean, even though, yes, they've done a lot of snap crap recently. I mean, I'm not aiming to say that with opening a can of worms, but, their operating system, their desktop operating system is still somewhat good. Despite the whole snap debacle, if you install it without snaps per se, or you remove snaps and you keep Flatpak and you keep the deb stuff, it's fine. It's not. I mean, even with the snap malarkey, it's okay. It's. I hate to say this. It's easy. It's a very solid foundation for Linux.
It is, but also the big gripe with GNOME, and this is one that I've had personally for many years, is the fact that even though GNOME has evolved so much and it's gotten better, the biggest gripe about GNOME, in my personal opinion, is how much RAM it consumes and how basically slow it can be on legacy hardware.
Yes. Those are the two bugs that they need to fix.
So they're getting better about that. I generally will recommend one or two things if somebody has legacy hardware. You run GNOME Classic. That usually uses less because it doesn't add a bunch of the extra pretty things on top.
Extra,
the extra animations and stuff. Then there's also Mate, which everybody knows about, of course.
But it's the fork of the old GNOME 2 style.
So that is an option.
Or basically, if you want a nice, beautiful looking GNOME that'll work with legacy hardware, then go with Zorin OS. They make a beautiful GNOME desktop that's really light.
Yes, it is. It's a very lightweight, very good GNOME desktop. It really is. And that is one of the things that, I've always loved and a credit to Zorin because they really step up the plate with GNOME. And, if you want a good, clean, I think that, if you want a good Ubuntu non-GNOME experience, you can do a few things. You can go with Kubuntu, which is KDE. You can go with Xubuntu XFCE, Mate. You can go with any number of those systems that are Ubuntu flavored, or even Lubuntu if you want it. Any one of those, and you'll have a good Linux experience where you don't have to learn the arch learning curve just yet.
Exactly. Which by the way, a little tiny plug. If you want a decent Arch distro that's not going to give you any trouble, I recommend Cashy OS because it's fast, it's stable. I've tested it on one of my machines for a little bit. It runs nice. The other one that I would recommend as well is Arco Linux XFCE.
Or you can try ours, Storm OS, if you guys are so inclined.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's options.
There's a
out
good
there.
number of them out there. It's just finding the one that fits your needs the most. That's what's so good about Linux is that, and why we do these shows on a regular basis is because we're trying to help steer you guys in the ways of finding what it is that you like. And
exactly.
Even if we recommend something and you guys don't like it, that's okay. There's dozens of Linux versions out there. It's And Lamer in the chat mentions another good one, Endeavor OS. It's
there you
it's
go.
another good option too. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a
plug
good thing
that.
about
I'm
Linux,
using it right
guys.
now.
Is what, Jonathan?
I'll plug it. I'm using that right now.
Nice.
Right now. This has to do with I wanted something quick and easy, and I was tired of installing by hand a million times in a week.
Yeah, I can understand that, Jonathan. You know? I can respect that. You know?
But Ricky mentioned CachyOS. I see another one that Mr. Ben here put up, and it's in regards to CachyOS.
Yeah. CachyOS was good. Don't get me wrong, but something about it on my particular hardware just did not go right. I don't know if it was because of, again, one of my drives acting up or what, but sadly, it just didn't work out for me. So.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's just I noticed you put an article up that's about CachyOS optimizing.
Oh yeah.
And whatnot.
Well, we can get on to that. Yeah, go ahead. But let's see. But yeah, CachyOS. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on.
Yep, I'm pulling it up on. I'm pulling it up on my end right now.
Okay, I'm pulling it up too. They are optimizing more packages with PGO for up to 10% better performance.
Okay.
So it's an operating system that is known for pursuing aggressive performance while still delivering a nice desktop experience. Is out with its September 2024 release. CachyOS has begun optimizing more packages with compiler profile guided optimizations, or PGO, for delivering up to 10%. I repeat, 10% better performance in cases like LLVM and Clang, Node.js, SVT-AV1, whatever the hell that is, RipGrep, and more. Also seeing benefits from leveraging PGO optimization. CachyOS has been picking up more patches from Intel's Clear Linux and squeezing out better performance. CachyOS has also been transitioning from zlib to zlib-ng, GCC fixes for AMD Zen 5 tuning, and various other fixes and tuning improvements. And of course, the downloads and more details on their website. So,
I mean, the big thing you asked what SVT AV1 is. It's a form of AV1 encoding. It's for streaming.
Yeah. All
right.
right.
It's for. It makes it's nice. That's the reason why Intel Arc is a thing.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing because I know a lot of Linux users would benefit from this. Got it, packet loss. But I will say, a lot, like we said, a lot of Linux systems and users will benefit from those improvements, and hopefully we'll see some more distros adopt that. So,
Yep.
And hopefully. So on to our next order of business. So, I posted one here. I think I did. Oh yeah. What did I want? Oh, here we go. Here's a good one. FreeBSD to see better laptop support with investment backed by AMD, Dell, and Framework. Ooh.
Oh.
That's, I think, better than the one I picked before. But yeah, this could be very, very good news for the Unix Foundation, actually. So I think I'm going to, let me read this. Okay. Following AMD and FreeBSD's collaborations, the Sovereign Tech Fund making a big investment into BSD, the FreeBSD Foundation, and Quantum Leap Research have announced a $750,000 commitment to improve laptop support on BSD, specifically FreeBSD, with backing by Dell, AMD, and Framework Computing. while FreeBSD is popular on servers, the hope moving forward is seeing better FreeBSD support on laptops to help with corporate adoption and the like. Besides Quantum Leap research and the FreeBSD Foundation, Dell, who is a very big player in the laptop space, AMD is another one, and Framework are other stakeholders. The total project investment may hit $1 million US. Among the areas that will be worked on to enhance FreeBSD laptop support include better Wi-Fi wireless chipsets support, and I know, Ricky, you're very excited to hear that. Enhancing power management with features like S2 idle, S010, or IX, whatever you call it. Better Intel and AMD graphics support, audio improvements, and working on various laptop hardware-specific features. Laptops features like touchpad support, specialty buttons, and other compatibilities found within modern laptop computers. Also to be addressed as part of this project is making the FreeBSD scheduler better handle heterogeneous cores and the Vive hypervisor improvements. More details can be found on the FreeBSD Foundation blog. Yeah. So what's the panel's take on this?
I'm at a loss for words right now. I can't believe this is even happening. Yeah. I mean, for FreeBSD to get this much attention, and for companies like Framework, Dell, and HP to back FreeBSD, and AMD to back FreeBSD to give it more publicity, to get it, to help FreeBSD get its foot into the door in order to be a nice computer operating system for the masses in terms of desktop usage. I'm all for this. This is wonderful news.
Yes, it is, Ricky. And I got to tell you, this is a very big step in Linux and the BSD future, because I mean, we all know how much we love FreeBSD and GhostBSD, and GhostBSD, for example, I'll give them a quick plug. They have done some tremendous work, the guys behind it and the main guy behind it especially, to make it an easy to use newbie version of BSD. And I wish them all the best for this. And heck, this may convince me to try BSD again very soon, because I'm hoping that they get the proper funding to bring this heck of a Linux, or heck of a Unix, excuse me, operating system to more and more people.
Yeah, and just to clarify, Linux is Linux. Unix is Unix. They are not the same system. Even though both Unix and Linux have key differences, they are both different in many different aspects.
Yes, they are. And when we make slip-ups like that, guys, just don't take it as intentional, please. But anyway, going on from there. So, Jonathan, I think you had one of the final 2 articles for the night. Is that right?
Yes, I do. I'm actually excited about this one because I've been playing with it on my laptop. Many of you, unless you've been living under a rock, you've heard this.
Yeah.
So, Some76 released Alpha 2 of their Cosmic Desktop on Pop OS. Super excited about that. Like, I'm ecstatic. So it kind of works. There's more options in the settings menu now. And then there was a bug. If you are on Alpha 1, you have to go to Alpha 2 because they break repo stuff near the end of that. So you'll have to upgrade.
Yeah.
You don't have to completely wipe your disk, by the way. Just use the refresh.
No. Just upgrade, guys. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, but it's working great. It's fast. I mean, really, really fast. Almost as fast as a window manager, kind of fast. Pretty
Yeah.
crazy for a desktop environment to be
Wow.
that way.
Yeah, put it that way, guys. It's literally when I never thought I'd hear the day where Jonathan says that because I know him. He loves window managers, as does Ricky. So, for him to say that is like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've known Jonathan for years. I don't know how the heck he can say that about any desktop environment, but
I am 99% sure it's a window manager with a bar and a dock, and they called it a desktop environment. I
yeah,
am completely
I don't
convinced of
know,
that at this point.
but I am very impressed that he is saying that. So now that's not to say I'm going to be downloading that desktop environment, but I give all the credit in the world to the to
System 76.
yes, and if they want to do that, go right ahead. So
I mean,
know,
I'm gonna say this about Cosmic. It is leading a revolutionary charge right now. I mean, for
yeah,
System 76 to basically make their own from scratch desktop environment written in Rust that's literally basically replacing GNOME. This is a big deal.
oh,
I've heard news reports about the Alpha 2 release, and there's so much good that's coming out of this. I think we're on the precedence of basically Cosmic being one of the best desktop environments of all time. Second to KDE Plasma, and in third place, and this would be my third place pick, but my third place pick is XFCE because of its stability.
I will agree with him on that.
So okay? I'm triggered a little bit. You put Plasma over Cosmic. I put Plasma on the bottom of my list. I don't like it. I think it's too unstable most of the time. But
yeah. As improved as it has become, I will say it has gotten a significantly better in 6 dot whatever they're up to now.
Mm-hmm.
But that still doesn't mean that it's going to have crashes and issues and things like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I won't. I will attest to Jonathan on this. I will not. I will not put it on the top tier list. I just won't. I mean, I'll put Cosmic at the top for Jonathan, and then I'll put XFCE, and then I'll probably put Monte. Just the way I'll look at it. But
I mean, the reason why I'm mainly excited about this release, though, has more to do with its newer technologies, right? It's not even really a fair comparison, to be honest. If you compare, let's say, Cosmic to GNOME, GNOME's based on a foundation that's what, 10, 20 years old?
yes.
GNOME in 1996.
Yeah.
Well, it's more than 20 years old, yeah.
It's more than 20 years old. I mean, that was back when GNOME 1 came out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so fresh blood can be a good thing in some scenarios, and this is one of those situations. That's really what it comes down to. I don't think really comparing them is fair.
Yeah, I do think that, over time, as Cosmic stabilizes, it's going to be one of the best desktop environments of all time. There's no question about that.
There's no question at all. No. And Lamer said he's a plasma guy. Oh boy.
Oh, how dare you? How dare you? No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lamer,
my goodness.
Lamer. Really?
I just want to know what's so great about it then, if you're a plasma user.
Yeah. I mean,
what is it?
Hey, if he wants to run KDE, by all means, that's his choice.
I mean, here's the thing. The only thing I've ever liked of Plasma is just its beautiful theming. That's the only thing I liked about it. The rest of it, I don't like, and for good reason. And I've said this in a lot of Switch to Linux's live streams in the past, and I'm going to reiterate this again. With KDE Plasma, you can get so lost in all those settings if you don't know what you're doing.
Yes, if you don't know jack crap about KDE, you're gonna how can I put it? You will get lost, and sorry, you will get lost. You'll likely just, if you're a Windows user, oh my word, you are going to fall down what we call the ever-loving rabbit hole, and probably end up being thrown off and probably begging for help to get another desktop, right, Ricky?
Well, the thing is, I mean, even though out of the box, KDE Plasma gives you a Windows look and feel, the biggest complaint about Plasma is the amount of settings it has. Now, if they would just, trim those things down to just the essentials that people would need, then Plasma would be a lot better, in my opinion. But until then, you just got to deal with so many settings. Like, if I had to count, there's like maybe 25 settings in there, if not maybe a little less than that. And if you look at other desktop environments, like, GNOME, XFC, Cinnamon, even Cosmic for what it has, the settings on those environments are so much more manageable than what Plasma has right now. Because that's the biggest complaint I have about Plasma is the settings. If they would just trim that down, it would be a lot better on people.
Yeah.
I just feel like I should say this. Dark Horse in chat said that, Cosmic is not really their thing yet. And I'm like, it's an alpha, It's not meant to be
an
alpha,
like he said, it's an alpha. It's not meant to be ready yet. It's an early release desktop. They're looking for feedback. It's going to have bugs. It's going to have all this and that. I mean, it's like a independent distro built from like Linux from scratch, for example. It's
exactly.
It's always all these things are always works in progress. It's not ready for mainstream use right now.
Oh no,
and it's gonna take time for System 76 to perfect it and make it better.
Yes.
Yeah. So just give it time; it'll get better. But yeah, who had I spoke my to? Who had the last one?
It is Ricky. It is yours.
All right, Ricky, on to your second article, bud.
Yep, the last one, and I saved the best for last. Ubuntu 24.10 Oracular Oreo. I'm sorry if I butchered a name. It almost sounds like I'm saying rectangular Oreo.
We didn't want to sound like we're saying something derogatory, folks.
No, that's not what we're doing here. It's just the way. It's just the way that Ubuntu has always done their naming scheme. They just give their distros just weird names.
Yeah, that's something they're collectively known for. We're sorry if we butcher it. It's just, it sounds so wrong.
What bothered?
Go ahead.
May
I? Sure, Jonathan. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just look at the name. It's not an animal.
No.
It's always been an animal. What happened?
What happened, Canonical?
I don't know of an animal named an Oreo.
No.
I don't either. It's not an animal.
It's like...
Or is it?
I don't know. Well, that's going to be something we'll have to look up after the show. But...
Anyway, but
It's a bird.
anyway, but yeah, exactly. It's a bird. But
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's an Oriole.
anyway, it says here today Canonical released the beta version of the upcoming Ubuntu 24.10 operating system for public testing ahead of the final release on October 10th, 2024. With only 3 weeks left before Ubuntu 20.10 hits the streets in a stable form, the beta is here to give us a glimpse of what to expect from the final version. Ubuntu 24.10 has just released GNOME 47 by default and is powered by the latest and greatest Linux 6.11 kernel. Some of the highlights of Ubuntu 20.10 included an updated desktop installer with support for local file paths for auto install imports, improved and optimized Power Profiles Manager to support better, newer hardware features, especially, pay attention, for AMD processors.
And
Did we lose Ricky?
I don't know. I think he might have had a hiccup. Go ahead.
Oh, anyway, it also promises a new security center with the ability to easily enable or disable the experimental permissions prompting feature for home directory permissions, an improved app center with various enhancements to the manage page, and additional patches for Mutter and GNOME Shell to enhance stability and performance. It also says here, another interesting feature in the upcoming Ubuntu 24.10 release, and Ben, pay attention because this involves you a little bit, is for NVIDIA graphics users as Oracular Oriole will default to Wayland instead of Xorg for machines using NVIDIA GPUs. As always, there are many changes to defaults, mostly by newer versions of packages. And it also says right here, underneath the hood, 24.10 comes with an updated toolchain. It includes GCC 114.2, GNU Utils 2.43.1, GNU C Library 2.40, LLVM 19, Rust 180, Go 123, OpenSSL 3.3, System D, NetPlan, and Net 8. If you want to take Ubuntu 24.10 for a test drive, download the beta right now from the official site. Also, keep in mind that this is a pre-release version. It's not recommended for use in production environments. Beta images for Ubuntu Desktop Server and Cloud Editions, as well as for Edubuntu, Kubuntu, Xubuntu, Lubuntu, Ubuntu Studio, Ubuntu Unity, Ubuntu Cinnamon, Ubuntu Budgie, Ubuntu Kylan, and Ubuntu Mate are available.
Yeah. And, oh my Lord, that is killer, Ricky. That is killer. And we will have to have a look at that very soon.
What bothers me about this release is NVIDIA and Wayland. It works, but here's the problem. They still don't have a control panel for Wayland.
No, they don't.
It's like, come on, Canonical. How hard is it? Seriously.
It's not Canonical's fault. It's NVIDIA's fault. NVIDIA hasn't made a control panel for Wayland yet. They only have one for Xorg.
They have.
I mean, all I gotta say is, when it comes to NVIDIA, we're not going to get complete 100% support when it comes to NVIDIA until Red Hat finishes development on the replacement for the Lenovo driver called the Nova driver.
Yep.
Yeah. The Nova driver has been a long time coming, and all I can say is hopefully it gets done soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
And once we get the Nova driver in our possession for the NVIDIA users, who knows? Maybe then the control panel will start working. But until then, folks, I'm sorry to say this. If you're using an NVIDIA machine, you ain't going to see a control panel.
Yep. So if you want to run Xorg on distro agnostically, nothing we can tell you.
Yep.
Sorry. So yeah, that's just where we're at, folks.
That's it. I mean,
okay.
All right. So I think we had a very good first show, guys, and I think we've hit our limit here for today. So if we want to bid you all a very good evening and morning, evening, noon, or night, whatever y'all are having, and we'll see you guys
next time
back here, same killer time, same killer show. So we'll see you guys a week from now. Thank you very much, and
bye-bye.
see y'all around the bend.
Bye.